All right, welcome back to the Get Set podcast, an old girls entertainment production where neoteric meets nostalgia. We are a podcast demystifying the idea of an overnight success while highlighting the array of diverse jobs within the industry with a focus on women in the TV and film space. Today, it's your co-host here, myself, Jessica Payne, and
Monique Schwaneman. And today on the pod, we have someone we are already massive fans of. She's an ambitious, creative entrepreneur, executive assistant at Omni Creative, marketing representative at The Finnish Long Drink, and host of the Banter Bits and Bangers podcast.
Okay.
And a recent Chapman alumni. Welcome to the pod, MJ Smith.
Yeah.
Woo, woo.
Hi, guys.
Yes, we are literally so thrilled to have you on, MJ, because we were so impressed with you with your first impressions. Just to get into everything, I mean, how we met was you're coming up and saying, take a bet on me using a poker chip with a QR code on. Oh my God, there it is.
She
brought
loves
it.
prepared.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we were at a Moonshot
Initiative.
networking event, which was great. We always recommend. And you met us that night. You also met Gianni Siegel from Ani Creative, which we have a podcast episode with her about, which is how we got connected, because Gianni and I and all of us did not meet that night, but you did, MJ. You met both of us and Gianni.
And you connected
And then you
us.
connected us.
Yes.
We love women connecting women.
I know.
And she also said that you left a massive impression on her both that night and then when you, I think, submitted your resume or your application, you color-coded it.
Yes.
We're going to get into all of it.
Or not color-coded it, but color-themed
To
her
Her marketing scheme.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we're going to get into all of it. But basically, and the reason we wanted you on the pod to begin with is because you clearly know how to stand out in such a positive way with starting out. And you're so young starting out. You're so in your beginning stages. And yet you're just actually out here killing it, which is wild. And we're so impressed. So let's get started. Welcome to the pod
Awesome.
officially.
Thank you. I love that intro and kind words.
We had to gush on you. So first of all, let's talk about, where you started. Let's start from the beginning. Who are you in your own words? And where do you call home?
Oh, I think who are you is you never know. It's like the taste buds. Every 7 years, it kind of changes.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
I am from a really small town called Sherborne, Massachusetts, and it's like 40 minutes outside of Boston. So I usually just say Boston because nobody really knows.
Yeah.
But I grew up with chickens, super small. Everybody knows everybody. Like my grade was around 90 kids, and then our high school or our middle school, we combined with the neighboring town, and the total was like 200. So it was a pretty small place. But
I didn't know there were chickens in that cold of a climate. I mean, that makes sense, I guess, but
No, I loved my chickens. They were my best. They were my best friends. I got caught a few times sneaking them inside and like playing with them in my room. And my mom was like, "Get the chickens out of the house." I was like, "No, Mom."
My friends.
I know, but fresh eggs, they're a game changer.
Yeah, my aunt has some. I've tasted them, and they're all different colors.
Mm-hmm.
They're like green and orange. They're like, it's crazy, but they're so good. You're right.
You get some blues too.
Ooh.
I like the blue eggs.
Maybe that's what they Dr. Seuss talked about with green eggs and ham. It wasn't the eggs inside that were green. It was the outside. I think we got it wrong from the beginning.
This is deep. This could go on another tangent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you moving to Chapman, you going to Chapman was your first time out here in OC, LA?
Kind of, sort of. So my brother, he went to USC. So when I was 16, he was kind of touring schools. So I kind of went on the trips with him, and I was like, wow, like California, driving down like Malibu. I was like, I'm going to be here one day. And I actually went to a firewalking course with Tony Robbins when I was 16. It was in San Jose. So that was super cool. That was another time I've gone to California.
Potholes, right?
It's
what it is?
It's I don't know if you've heard of Tony Robbins, but he's a motivational speaker and he kind of empowers people to walk on like hot coals. So it's a whole program. My parents were super big Tony Robbins fans. So when I was a young kid and they would listen to tapes of his in the car and he was like, I started from nothing and now he's this huge speaker. So that always kind of like motivated me, I think subconsciously. I was like, oh my gosh, like if he can do it, like if you can start from nothing and turn yourself into something. So I feel like that was always in the back of my brain. And during that time period, I was honestly like not the best version of myself, but I think that gave me a lot of confidence to be like, yo, I can walk on fire. Like none of the kids my age are doing that. And so I think that always made me want to like, I don't have to be like everybody else, and it's better to be different because then you don't compare yourself.
That's really cool that your parents were into that and like sparked that within you. That's really unique and good on them.
I definitely did not want to go. It was my 16th birthday, and they're like, "We're going to like California for firewalking."
That was like their gift treat to you.
Yeah, and I was like,
That's
I don't want to do that.
Sweet, though.
At the time, I was like, I don't want to do that, but then I realized I was probably being a little spoiled.
That's so deep.
A 16-year-old is what you're being.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But
that's cool.
I got an In-N-Out burger on my birthday, so that made up
that's
for
a win.
it.
Yeah, that's a win.
No, that christened you into being a Californian for
sure.
Yeah,
true.
So kind of to tie that up, I had no clue where I wanted to go for college, so I decided to use my soccer ability to get me into college. So I played at a really small school called UNC Asheville. They were a lower Division I, but I was like got scholarship. I was like, I'm just not gonna think about it. And then there, I didn't love it. Found Chapman and was like, I'm gonna go there. Only school I applied to transfer, but something drew me in about it. So.
Did you know you wanted to do filmmaking or not yet?
Not yet. I had taken some classes at UNC Asheville because I was going to be a media major, but they didn't have a film program there. So I took this horror and sci-fi film class that was pretty awesome. And I learned a lot about films, and I think that sparked. But when I was a young kid, I would watch a ton of movies online. Like I'd be like laid up on my phone watching, and then like parents walk in and they're like, "Are you on your phone?" You're like,
"No,
you're like working on your snore."
So when did that transition for you from media to wanting to be in filmmaking?
I think I've always had an appreciation for movies and film. I feel like I watch a lot. I'm not good at like knowing everything, but I feel like I can appreciate a good film. But I love being a helping hand or being that like hype person or that inspiration. So again, I'm still figuring out what I want to do with film. And I think everyone's like, what's your niche? What's your niche? It's like, I don't want to have a niche, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't want to like write myself off into like one category, which is definitely harder for myself because I feel like it's easier when you're like, I'm good at this, I do this, but I kind of want to be good at everything. So
but also at this stage, this is the sponge stage where you're soaking. Where you're soaking everything up. I know that, after we met you, we brought you on as a PA on our most recent project, and just your willingness to be like, like you said, I'm here, whatever you need, I'm here to learn. Yeah. And not only are you there to learn, but like you're on it and you pick up things well and you're a good communicator and you're a good listener. Yeah. You anticipate things.
So. I also think too, just with the niching yourself down, because we've talked about this before where I see both sides now. Cause I was like you too, whenever I was like coming out of school where I was like, well, I want to write and direct and edit because I'm kind of okay at all of these and I really like all of these. And I don't want to say I'm only a writer, director, or an editor when I do want to be doing all of this and then get niched down into a certain spot. However, I know now, like, the reason people are saying like niche down is because that way they can kind of like spot something of being like, oh, okay, so you have an interest in this. I know someone who can do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like
to help them connect the dots.
Yeah, exactly. For you. But one thing that we always say is you don't have to give up on all of those things, but maybe you like find a hand, like I'm a writer director, like a little one or two multi-hyphenate.
What leads at the time.
Right, exactly. And also getting it from like what that person is. Like if you're talking to a producer, you may not be like, I want to, well, actually a producer is probably great for everything, but like,
you could be more like if you are a producer director, you could be more producer heavy in that combo and then let them know that you're a director. But I think with you too, it's you're so, not us telling you who you are, but you're so it feels like, as an outsider, it feels like you're confident in yourself.
Mhm.
So I don't get this flightiness with your passion, because you
Yeah.
seem like a passionate person, is what it seems like.
Mhm.
So let's do that then, because so you are, put you back in the headspace of you're about to graduate. How did you, have you always been kind of confident, or was it really after the walking on fire thing that totally turned it for you? Or
I think I've always wanted to prove myself that I could do it. Kind of like, yeah, I did that in a way. I did the sixth grade musical. I did like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I was Charlie's friend, so I had a side role. I was ensemble some of the nights, but I had like one night where I had my main line, and then the next year I tried out for it was Annie, and obviously in my head you're like, I'm gonna be an Annie, so I thought I was gonna be Annie. So I made it to the callbacks and I sang like the sun will come out tomorrow, and I bombed it. I like ran off stage, and I was like, Mom, come pick me up. Left. I was like, I was like, I'm never doing theater again. And then eighth grade talent show, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna sing solo. So I decided to sing I Want You to Stay by Rihanna. And it was not that good, but like I still did it. So it's like I kind of just like to do things and like overcome that fear. It's like kind of pushing myself. And then my senior year of soccer at Chapman, the girls were like, I dare you to sing the national anthem. And I was like, you know what? Sure. Like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So I sang the national anthem. So I feel like if there's like a challenge or like kind of a dare, like I've always been that person. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, you don't think I will. It's kind of like proving other people. But at the end of the day, I think it's proving myself that I can do it, because I just think the more things you do, the more experience you get. And I just want to experience it all. So I think that's come from like a young age, and I still try to do. I'm always that person who's like, oh, you're always doing something random. It's like, how did you end up doing that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just asked.
She's a rapper. She's a podcast.
Yeah.
She's all of it.
Yeah. Like all the things. I just want to relate.
One thing that I think that like really stands out with you, MJ, is that you have such like great attention to detail, and you're so in like in tap with your creativity, like, and both of those
like
things
thinking outside the box,
in this world, like, will get you so far. Again, with like the poker chips, and then also having the QR code. Like, you didn't just bring it in for like a prop, you brought it in to hand out to people, and there's a QR code to like
get with intention. Yeah,
right, exactly. And then like, you know, applying for Omni Creative and then using their colors as, you know, part of your application. Like, that is massive.
How did you, as a recent graduate, how did you even find out about these networking events and know that like internshipping was the way to go for you?
Mm-hmm. So Chapman honestly has a great network of people, from professors, and they just have a huge network. So there was a Lionsgate event that was essentially a Chapman alumni event. And so there's only like 10 Chapman students there networking at an event. So it was kind of weird because I was like, wait, should I even be here? But I brought my poker chips. I know. So I brought my poker chips. My communications teacher told me to go. And I went up to this lady I didn't know. She had a really cool hat. I was like, your hat is so cool. I don't know, Tracy Hayes. So I went up to her and I started.
Hat? Yes.
Yeah. So I went up to her. I was like, your hat's awesome. And I think, again, when we talk about setting yourself up and networking, is asking questions that actually get people thinking that they've never heard of. So I asked her, what's one thing you wish more people knew about you? And that's one of my go-to questions. And she talked about how she is really passionate about the Children's Heart Association, and kind of told me her background on that. And it was just a genuine conversation. And she's like, here's my LinkedIn, message me, let's get coffee. So it was like very much like when you make that personal connection with someone, they want to help you more than just a generic, like you have to ask that person, tell me about you. Because the more you're like, me, they're like, they don't care.
Yeah. So, well, and another thing is like, again, I've kind of said before in terms of like when you go to these networking events and everyone's there for film and television, it's kind of like, what makes you stand out? Like, that's how you connect, and like,
or how do I remember you? I remember that's that's the girl who plays soccer, or like she has the poker chip. And
right. And it's usually something outside of like the
I just wrote a pilot. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's usually like something,
did.
right. Exactly. Because you're one of 1,000 that have also, written a pilot. But if you have that like outside passion, like knitting, soccer, the Heart Association, like that's something that's very
easy to latch on to.
Yeah. Like remembering.
So you've had the poker chips from the beginning.
I've had them for a little while. I've had them. I don't know how I came up with it, honestly. Because I think I met someone on a plane and he had these chips. They were plastic and they would say, I am grateful. So they were like gratitude coins with his Instagram on it. And I was like, that is so cool. Because I have a huge collection of business cards that I'm just like, that's a good one. That's a bad one. It's just like, I always think about it. So then I was thinking like, what are circular things? And then I was like, wait, a coin? I was like, would that be crazy? Because I didn't want it to be like just his coin. I was like a poker chip. So then it was kind of, how could I turn that into something?
Yeah.
Do you guys have business cards?
Yeah, we just redesigned them. Yeah, we have virtual ones. And we've talked about this before on the pod. I thought it was because a lot of people have physical ones, and I was at an event and I just saw the floor like littered with tons of them. And I'm like, at the end of the night, because we like left kind of late, and I'm like, okay, so we're just left on tables. And I'm like, how do we make? But that night, someone like airdropped me their business card, and now it's in my gallery. It's already there. So we always try and make sure to have virtual ones if we don't have physical ones on hand, and that's worked out.
I have a personal business card that I hardly ever like. I ordered like 100 of them or something. I think I've given out like 5. I don't know.
But there are links now. I gotta pull up that company. There are links now where you can, I mean, we just made ours on Canva, but there are links that you could share with people, and it's a digital business card with like clickable links. So there's so many different options, but it's kind of nice that, you have something physical again, that you can give someone that's like going to be something out of the ordinary in their bag or their purse that they're not using.
And again, it's literally about standing out, especially at the very beginning when you're like, I don't have these lists of credits behind me. I haven't worked with all these people, but like freaking stand out so much. And especially if you have like a tagline with it, like you have something that just,
I think also it's so smart about what you said in terms of asking people about them. And because when you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of things to talk about for yourself, that's in relationship to the industry, you being invested in what they're going to say. I think it helps turn the conversation around if you're not you, but like if anyone's feeling self-conscious about where they're at in life or in their career, it could be like, oh, tell me about what you're up to, or tell me about, when you moved
and
here.
Again, I think people that like really like people who are passionate, because again, we in this industry, we work, 16 plus hour days and things like that. So you want to be around people who like are interesting and like are passionate. And if you don't have the experience behind you yet, if you have a passion for something, exactly. It shows that you have a work ethic, that you can last those 16 hours, that you can, be on a project for years on end and still be passionate about it. So it's great.
Was Ani Creative your first job in the industry after graduation?
It was. So I met Tracy for coffee, and then she told me about Moonshot, and I was like, I'm there. So I showed up, brought my poker chips. And then again, I brought my notebook, so I always bring like a hand notepad with me with a pencil. It's a little inconvenient, but I think it just takes away from that. Oh, let me get out my phone. It's just like you just feel a lot more connected with someone. They're like, wow, like that's different. It just kind of, I always like to be like that different person. But so I met Gianni. I gave her the card, or the chip rather, and she was like, this is super cool. And I was like, take a gamble on me. And then I emailed her. She told me to send her resume. And then I was like, you know what? This is a creative agency. She's done art production, and their logo, Ani's logo, has a bunch of little different colored balls that are kind of together, and there's a whole backstory behind it. So I just decided, I was like, I'm just gonna throw those in there in the corner. We'll add some purple, because I started using Canva for my resumes to kind of clean it up, because obviously use Times New Roman font, because I feel like that's the OG, or how your school wants you to do it. So I kept it like classy like that, but then left some room on the side. So I think it's just it's just important to be different and stand out because you don't want to look like every other resume.
Especially, so we just did we just did our first like opening for internships, and you can and like we asked for a marketing and admin intern, and when you open it up, there are some resumes, like you said, that looked exactly like my resume
Yeah.
over a decade ago, and I'm like, wow, they're still teaching the
They're
same
still
format.
using it, yeah.
And then also, yeah, the Times New Roman, yeah, and then the header's exactly the same,
Yeah.
and then also, but you're so right. If you're applying for anything in marketing or PR or branding, literally having a different font, adding color makes a massive difference as they're just scrolling through different resumes.
And the thing is, and that was something that luckily I was taught, in that if you're going for something creative, make your resume creative, like at least in look of it, you know, add, like you said, a little bit of color, a little something. And I mean, it shouldn't be like a ton, because if they're, and also be careful if they do end up printing out your resume and it's in black and white, you don't want everything to be washed away.
True.
In terms of like, no, you can no longer, you know,
read
it. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, that it's just so, you stand out whenever it's like you're going for a creative role. Like, be creative. That's number one. Be creative. How are you creative? And even like the people who just had like a different color heading, that was not super creative, but like, hey, it stood out
something different. It was something different.
Something to mix things up.
And it was one of the first things when we had coffee with Gianni, and that was one of the things she said, that you totally stood out even from the email phase, even before you even got to the interview. She's like, wow, she took the time to look at my company, know our brand colors, and then incorporate them and curate her resume to my company. So it really shows the person that you're interviewing for that you made an effort and that you understand what their company is.
And you care, which is massive.
Yeah.
Like, you care about their company. Because I think that's the other thing. If you're looking for, like, if someone is looking to bring you on, again, they want you to be as passionate about whatever they're going to do, whatever that company is doing, as you possibly can be. And if you care about the company, if you really want to stand out, I mean, perfect example.
Do it.
Yeah.
So you got an interview. She saw your amazing resume. You got an interview.
What was the next step?
The next step was a call, and she didn't basically give me the job on site. We kind of talked about it, and then I was like, well, I'm down. Like, I'm not doing anything, and I want to make this happen. So it was very quick turnaround.
And it transitioned into being an executive assistant.
So I started, so I started more doing stuff assisting her, and then I kind of translated into the executive role. So now I'm helping with the team and stuff,
which is massive.
No, it's awesome. It's
because she's the CEO of her company. So you immediately she saw your work ethic, and you were able to climb within her industry. That's kind of cool about working for a company that, you know, that is self-run, that's a little bit smaller than like going to somewhere like Sony or something, because there's a lot of opportunity for growth pretty rapidly.
Yeah. How long would you say that you got that first job to when you like were first starting to like look for jobs outside of college? Like,
it was probably like a month or 2 months.
That's so quick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because I went on a 3-week abroad trip, maybe a little less. And so I traveled, and then I came back and I was like, job mode. I was like, need a job, gonna get a job. And it was crazy. I'm not a huge manifester, but I do like to write things down. We always need to be better about it. But during that time, I had nothing to do. So I would write down everything I'm grateful for in the morning, and then I want to work a creative job. It was like, I want to work a creative job. I want to work a creative job. That's what I would like write down. And then it was like Ani Creative. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is just such a sign.
You're like, I've been writing for this every day.
I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm working on a creative. Like, this is a creative. So I think that definitely helped in just like really trying to be intentional with what you want. And I feel like if I really need to get out, or I really need something, if I write it down and I visualize it, then it will happen. We all have a superpower.
Absolutely. How many did you like apply to? A lot of jobs, or was this kind of like the first? Yeah, like what was the process like on the in between? Like what were you doing?
Well, Hollywood List or Holly List, I
Yeah.
think. They have a lot of opportunities and jobs. I mean, some of them are for more experience, some of them are internships. So I was looking at a lot of internships in the agency,
Hmm.
ranging from like fashion to production to assistant. So I was looking at a lot more internships because I thought that was a little more realistic than
Hmm.
applying to a job at Sony or like the bigger studios. And so then I've had like two interviews with other places, but then once I kind of confirmed with Ani, I stopped outreaching.
Yeah.
So,
Were you paying
and
for the Holly List subscription?
no, you don't need the Hollywood because I think
You
with the
don't?
subscription, you get
Yeah.
the more exclusive ones,
Hmm.
but you still can see like Amazon posted this job. It might not show you the description, but then if you look on LinkedIn, you can maybe find it there. So it's kind of like
Cross research.
you can cross research, but you don't have to have a subscription.
Yeah. I just know that I had heard somewhere, which maybe it's different or maybe things change, but I had heard that if you don't get the subscription, your like resume doesn't necessarily go to the top. It's like the people at the like for whenever they see the
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't think I ever applied through Hollywood List. I used the email. It was like send resume to.
Okay.
So I feel like making
Copy.
sure that you're sending the resume to someone, you're like, okay, I'm confirmed, sent it to someone, because sometimes you can apply to places and you have no where it, you don't know where it goes. So just making
Oh,
sure you're
you have no idea.
yeah, so making sure you're following up with the person who's attached to it, or you're researching the company who's the HR person, who's someone who could get you the answers.
Yeah, I think recently we've delved back into LinkedIn because I I used to see it as like the Facebook of the job market. I'm like, is this relevant anymore? Are
Yeah,
people using it? But when people need to find people, that's a real good go-to that people shouldn't count out. That if you have a
Yeah.
LinkedIn, that you should be updating it just like you update any of your materials that people can Google you and find you.
Yep.
especially for Ani, we have blogs that we post, and
Yeah.
we've been posting them more on LinkedIn, and getting more people reaching out about them. So I think it's definitely posting articles or posting podcasts. It does. A lot of my friends use it. I didn't post that I graduated on my LinkedIn, but when I was like scrolling after graduating, so many people were posting, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're like so excited to graduate. I'm working at this job now, and I'm like, should I be doing that? So I haven't really made my Chapman alumni post yet. But I'm like, not sure if I do that a year later. Like, it's just so weird with
You
posting.
could just be, oh, I've been a year out and this is what I'm doing. You totally can.
Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, nobody really cares that much. Whether it's like you're the only one who cares about when they gonna know that this was like months ago. It's like it's a
No.
1 second post that people, and I still need to
Yeah.
get over that. Social media is
Yeah.
hard for me.
I feel the exact same way. I went to Sundance this year and I still haven't posted. I took so much content over there, and Jessica's like, "Yeah, you really need to post about it." I'm like, "Shoot, yeah, we're a few weeks out. Maybe is it still relevant?" But yeah, like might as well. Who cares? Just post it.
No, our first episode of the season is entitled "Getting Out of Your Own Way," and we talk in length about that. And like one of the things that I like say in it a lot is, if you need to just put a just in front of it. It's just a video. It's just posting. It's
It's not
just
so precious
it's
that
not
everything's riding on it. Nothing's riding
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So just minimize it and then you do it and then it's great. And then it's all
And then it's
a
yay, I
big
did
deal.
it.
Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
win.
Yeah.
Do you?
Exactly.
So you said you're a big manifester. Do you have like? Do you set 2-year, 5-year, 10-year goals?
I
Are we
wish.
gonna
I mean,
manifest right here on the pod?
there. I mean, I had a podcast, so like being on I'm a very full circle person. So it's
Yeah.
like I had a podcast. Now I'm on a podcast. I'm like, okay, I did it. So I think I set little milestones for myself, but I definitely need to be better about writing them down.
Hmm.
And I always try to do things to make my younger self proud. That's something I like live by a lot. Just like doing
Yeah.
it, 'cause it's like you don't want to ever live in regret, and you just got to live in the present and just working on that, because it's so hard not to be caught up in like, what if I did this? What if I didn't do this? It's just you control that. You control your emotions. You control your thoughts. Everyone has that little roommate in their head, and it's like, how do you befriend that roommate? How can you, I don't know, find a truce with that? Because it's so hard not to let that roommate just ruminate your thoughts and just believe it. So believing that it's like I'm on the right track, am I setting goals for myself every day? No. Should I? Yes. But like, do I have goals in my head and like visions for myself? And so I don't know. I'm just really grateful to be living in California. Like that was one of my goals, and so I'm doing
Yeah.
it. So I definitely need that next step because now I'm here and I'm like, wait, I don't know exactly what's next. So I'm kind of trusting in the process.
Yeah.
But
Also, right now is like, it's okay. Like, once you get there to kind of like feel it out and explore it and see what is next. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, okay, I did it. And now on to the next one. And on, you can like celebrate or like kind of just like live in that, that goal that you've hit. And like, I don't know.
You got your job so fast. Cause I remember at the Galentine's Day event. So in mid-February when we met you, you're like, yeah, I'm graduating soon and I'm moving to LA and I don't have the income yet. So we're got to find a job because I got to move to LA. And we're like, okay, girl, go off. And you did. And that happened within a few months. And that's nuts that you moved out here and were stable and everything.
MJ, it's unheard of. I don't think you understand.
You're the first I've heard of. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure other people have done it. I just haven't heard about it. It's people usually that I hear people are like, I take a year and I save up and then I move to wherever I'm going to move. And you just,
I definitely think it's just not being afraid of like asking the person or being like, because you always want to end, and like what I've learned from Chapman and just life experiences, like how do you take those action items, especially in like meetings now. You're like, okay, so what are the next steps? And I think people don't always think that. They're like, oh my god, I had the conversation. They're like, wait, what do I do next? So it's making sure you're being like, okay, like when I met with Tracy, I was like, what do you think I should do next? Like, who's the person I should be talking to? What event should I be going to? And asking for advice and not being afraid. It's like, oh, like, I just think people get very scared. And I've never been afraid to ask questions. And I think that curiosity has really carried me. So I think just staying curious and still being like that kid.
And especially because this episode is all about like life after graduation and kickstarting yourself after you graduate, or if you're not graduating, this like kickstarting yourself as you move to a new region or LA. That's the perfect time to ask all those questions because you can skate by on the fact that, hey, I'm new. Because in like 5 years, if you're like or 10 years, it's like I've been working in the industry for 10 years, you might be more nervous to ask those introductory questions unless you pivot to a new position. I think anytime you're new to something, that is the time to say it all. As long as you're respectful.
For my serving job, when I would train new servers, I would always say, like, if you don't know the answer to a question, let the guests know that you're new. Be like, oh, it's my first day. It's my first week. Oh, I'm still kind of new here. Let me figure that out. They will give you so much more grace.
So much grace.
Because
so much more tips.
I mean, I was like, even actually, I'm like, even if you've been here for a month and you don't know, I mean, I still think that's considered like new, depending on how many shifts you have or whatever, And I'm like, you're still new. Like, just say, I'm new. I don't know that. Let me, whatever. And then people will be like, you're new. You did amazing.
Wow, you did a like, honey.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like people give so much grace if you just say, I'm new.
If you're just honest.
I don't know. What do you think? Like, or, I mean, obviously I wouldn't say, what do you think about this meal to like the guest or whatever. But in terms of like,
in this circumstance,
exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to promote while you're on here? And how people can follow you and follow your journey and what you're up to?
I don't know. I just need to be better at posting. It's like, you can follow me in person, like meet me.
Stop. We don't not. Okay, so people can follow you at Mary Jo Smith _
First of all, we're your older sisters. We're like, do not invite people to you. Don't.
I'm just joking. I just feel like I like to make in-person connections. To me, it's so hard not to feel not disgenuine. It's just like I want to get to know someone just by talking to them. And social media, I'm just not the best at posting, but I've been trying to do more. I went to a short film club event the other night, and that was super cool. I met some people.
What's it called?
Short film club, but it's called like Pink Box Studio. But they showed a bunch of short films, and some of my friends were in the club, so that was cool. Like go to my first LA event. So I'm still learning on how to network here, but you can follow me on Mary Jo Smith _. I have a film account, Mojo and Cali.
I love that.
LinkedIn. I haven't posted on my podcast in a while. Started that at Chapman.
Listen,
Bits and bangers.
This is for the people who want to connect with you, but you got to connect with them safely first.
Okay.
They can slide into your DMs and they can meet you with a bunch of people around and in a safe environment.
If you're not sure, send them over our way and we'll vet them for you. Okay.
Yeah, we'll put you together. Make sure we'll be with the sunglasses.
Share your location
at the coffee shop. Yeah, exactly, 100%. Well, that's amazing. We're such big fans of you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and telling us all about
how
you do.
Yeah. Do you have any like advice for
people just starting out?
Yeah. Any last little nugget of information?
I think it's honestly find a passion outside of work too. That's something that like, because when I was at Chapman my last semester, I was really into this business idea that I was starting, and it got me so passionate, and I was like, and it's something I love to talk about. And I think finding something that you love to talk about and that passion will show to someone else, and it's like that passion will translate on. So I think finding something else you're passionate about that's like completely different, that they're like, no way, like you guys said, knitting, like you're into making keychains. It's just like there's always something, and I love when I hear other people's stories, like I never would have guessed that. So find your passion, be unique, be true to yourself, find a way that can put you, make yourself different from the rest, and bring a pen and a notepad. Honestly, like
that right there is, if you don't know what to do, whipping out a notepad instead of the notes on your phone is immediately going to be like, oh, that person was walking around with a
notepad. So like, wear the hat, wear the funny socks, like just be yourself a conversation starter, but then don't be afraid to continue those conversations. Be prepared with that one hard-hitting question that's going to be like, no one's ever asked me that before, or that's a good question. When someone says that to me, my day's made. I'm like, I make someone think the way they've never been able to think before. I've changed their life.
I also think, and this was like a good thing that you had said, was in that you're trying everything. Like when I graduated, that's how I like got things. Cause I was like, let me get on LinkedIn and try to get networking coffees with people, virtually or whatever. And I was emailing anyone and everyone who I didn't know. Like I was like not even interested really in like the marketing side of things, but I was like, let me interview a marketer and see what the heck goes on, And I mean, it's just about doing anything and everything you can to like stand out, to try to get your start, because you just don't know where it's going to come from. Also, and that's what you were doing.
Also to have a general knowledge of other jobs other than the one that you might want, because you might find something that you're more interested in, or you might just, one day you are going to run into a marketing person and be like, hey, I, interviewed this person and this is what they said about that. What are your thoughts? And it's education. You have more context and more knowledge about what they do. And usually that lights people up when they're like, oh, you took the time to learn something about my job. That's cool.
And you never know when that like specialty is going to be needed. I mean, even thinking about Gianni, right, is like, they do like, she started with props and then, or marketing and then props, and then now combined it. And it's like, that's like her big thing. And then, we've talked to so many people who get really good at a certain thing and then pivot, and it just helps them excel.
Able to collaborate both. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just so excited and like so happy that you are killing it. You're just absolutely doing amazing. And we're so happy to have met you. Yeah,
I appreciate that. It's hard to always believe that, because it's like I turned 24 in a month, and that's like 24 sounds like such a big number, but then you talk to other people and they're like, oh my god, you're a baby. And it's just like you never feel like your exact age. It's just like you have to like let go of it, and I'm learning how to let go, and it's nice to hear nice things about you that you're like, wait, I'm on the right track. So thank you.
No, we're such big fans.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, you are skyrocketing faster than I've seen. So we're excited to follow your career and see what ends up becoming of it, because we know that you're
working with you down for sure.
Right. You're
well, I'm excited to see more guests you guys get, and any connections I make, I will send them your way.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, Andrea, you're amazing. Now,
go
get
set.
Yeah. The Get Set podcast is created, edited, and produced by Jessica Payne and Monique Schwaneman of Old Girls Entertainment. Original music composed by the incredibly talented Kyle Hall. You can follow him on social media at Kyle Hall Music.
If you vibed with this episode and our mission of bringing to light different career paths in the industry, especially for women, leave a review, subscribe, and share us with a friend.